7 foods you'll never eat again after knowing how they are made. 7. Insects in your food. We all know that in certain cultures these tiny creatures form a regular part of the cuisine, but if you don't belong to one of these cultures, we're sure that you'll be grossed out by the idea of eating insects. If not more, swallowing a beetle or just having to munch on grasshopper limbs is the kind of thing you end up doing in a nightmare. Insects have been a regular constituent of many food items you've been consuming without knowing it. Check out the ingredient list of your favorite candy, or that strawberry yogurt. The ingredient list includes a coloring agent called D120. Rest assured that you've been eating cochineal, and that too in huge numbers. This insect is native to Latin America and is whitish with a soft rounded body. It generally feeds on plants. What makes this insect stand out is the ability to produce carminic acid to protect itself from predators. This carminic acid has a beautiful crimson red color. So, for commercial purposes, these cochineals are raised in special kinds of cactus plantations. They're then harvested from these plants before being dried in the oven or under the sun. After drying, these insects are crushed and immersed in boiling water for a few seconds to extract the color, and the harvested substance is then used as a cosmetic, especially in the food coloring industry. 6. Vanilla flavoring. We all love beavers, the nice little aquatic rodents. They're so popular that a lot of teams worldwide pick them as their mascots, but they aren't just cute animals. They're also pretty intelligent creatures who've provided humanity with quite a lot of insight into the matters of aquatic hydraulics. But despite all these cool qualities, what we didn't expect was to find out that they also have a huge contribution towards an infamous human food item. If you're an ice cream lover, especially the vanilla-flavored one, or a dessert enthusiast who loves the vanilla essence in their cooking on a routine basis, then you ought to know that the food industry employs a substance called castoreum. It's a very fragrant oily secretion with a yellowish color and is obtained from glands located in the cloaca of beavers. This substance is a vital ingredient in the food industry, especially when it comes to reinforcing certain flavors like raspberry, strawberry, and most of all vanilla. There's no denying the fact that you've probably consumed a wild amount of this beaver anal gland product. 5. Eye-opener for cheeseburger lovers. A certain substance, usually referred to as the pink slime or glue by the media and food industry, is the main ingredient. What has glue and slime got to do with burgers, you may ask? It's a pink ooey commercial-grade beef additive that's added to the ground meat to increase its volume, weight and quantity. It's formed by grinding the negligible parts of beef fats, tendons and other connective tissue. This is processed in a huge centrifuge until a thick paste is created, and the paste is then treated with ammonia and citric acid to purge all the possible microbes. The finished product is then sent to meat plants and restaurants ready to be mixed into what they tell us is pure meat products. This unappetizing mixture is probably a part of the sandwiches and burgers you're eating and you don't even know it. 4. Indian street food. If you're a foreigner in India and the hunger pangs are hitting you stronger every minute, just head back to your hotel or go to a well-known bigger restaurant. Never eat at one of those street-side shops and food stands in places like Bombay or New Delhi if you want to avoid getting severe diarrhea or don't want to end up making your gut a home to parasites. The food trailers are set up in the hot weather in dirty, unclean places littered with garbage everywhere. Most of these dishes sold on streets are very popular local specialties, but the way they're prepared will have you running for the mountains. It's common knowledge that the street food in India is almost always exposed to microbes and insects, especially flies. The vendors rarely ever use gloves to prepare and serve the food. The counters are untidy and the cutlery is washed with dirty water. The most basic hygiene standards are blatantly ignored here. The food does not affect the locals as they have lived here and consumed this all their lives. Their bodies and immune systems have adapted to their locality and they're not always fine. 3. Surimi sticks. As opposed to popular belief, this appetizing snack is not at all made from crab meat. The reality is far from it. These sticks, frequently served with salads, don't come from any meat rather than made from the white fish flesh like Alaskan hay or North Pacifica. Turns out there's not a single shellfish component in these sticks as opposed to what is proudly advertised on the packaging and in commercials. The flesh of these white fish is of low gastronomic value and is thus used commercially. This tasteless flesh is mixed with salt, starch and chemical preservative. This mixture is then vigorously stirred to obtain a bland and flavorless white paste. This gets further horrifying because the waste is then artificially flavored using crab flavor obtained from the shellfish waste. The paste is pretty gross and unappetizing before it hardens and is processed to its final form. 2. The ugly secret behind street food in the third world. There's no denying that street food has gained a lot of popularity over the years, especially because the flourishing tourism industry, food tourism shows and social media influencers trying to hype up small vendors selling on street sides. But behind the glitz and glamour of these delicious dishes lie horrifyingly unhygienic practices, and in third world countries most people aren't even trying to provide clean food. As you can witness scenes like this man kneading the dough with his bare feet. The beautiful and fresh-looking vegetables you see being used in the making these foods are probably washed with sewer water. It's not just the cooking practices and dirty surroundings that contribute to the filthy nature of this food, but also the body hygiene of the people making it is equally nasty. 1. Jaggery yogurt. The advent of refined sugar has no doubt revolutionized the entire edible industry, from restaurants to packaged food factories and even in all our homes. Sugar has become a kind of staple. There are many refined and unrefined forms of it available in the market, but some of these we just don't recommend. One of those is jaggery yogurt. It's an unrefined form of sugar consumed abundantly in India and Pakistan. This form of sugar is created by heating huge quantities of palm syrup that's stirred in enormous pots, all the while being exposed to the dirt and debris from the surroundings. Once the sugar is reduced to the required point, workers wearing sandals hop in the containers and collect it. To say the least, they step into the jaggery with their shoes on to make things worse. This jaggery is then solidified in a mold that has probably never been washed and then stored in even more unsanitary places.